Good afternoon, and welcome to the garden. Welcome to Garden Conversations with Rose. We're still in the month of March, and so, ladies, queens, and sisters, the focus is still on you, and we're still focusing on boundaries. So, last week, we encouraged you to establish your boundaries. We gave you 5 areas that we thought were vital enough for boundaries to be established. Today, we are telling you that those boundaries that you established must at all times be guarded. You have to guard your boundaries. And so, of course, today again, we're using 5 pointers that we think are important as you guard those boundaries. So we're telling you the words aware, bold, firm, resolute, and consistent. If we mix up those words, or the letters rather, we come up with an acronym called BACAF that could be local for stay away, hold your ground, get away from me, stay back, back off. So as you guard your boundaries, we are telling you that it's important for you to do at least 5 things. So we want to tell you, first of all, that you must be aware. And so, in the normal sphere of things, when one has a boundary to guard and establish, one is aware that there may be animals trying to get in, there may be neighbors who are unscrupulous, or even other individuals who may think it's cool to get entry to our property. So we must know the neighborhood in which we live or have that property. We must know, we have to be aware of who are around us. So, in similar fashion, we, as we attempt to guard our boundaries, must be aware of the persons with whom we interact. Who are the persons who we interact with? What character traits do they possess? What are they planning? What are they like? What are their intentions? We must be aware of those things as we attempt to guard our boundaries from those persons. And then, of course, in attempting to guard our boundaries, we have to have a boldness within us that will make us stand up for ourselves. So, of course, in the ordinary sphere of things, we may have neighbors who may want to intimidate us. Some may have a little more money. Some may just don't care. Some may become brash and irritable, but we have to have that boldness within us and tell ourselves, this is my property, it's my affair, so I can take the stand I wish to. And so, of course, again, similarly, as we attempt to guard the boundaries, we have to tell ourselves that I have to be bold. I can't expect to cower and withdraw and retreat because persons have become intimidating. I have to guard myself. And then, of course, we continue. We continue to guard our boundaries by being firm. If we look at the physical property that we have, when we put down our stakes, when we have our pillars, when we utilize that fencing wire, we ensure that they are strong and sturdy enough so that the area is well protected. The neighbor beside us can't easily move that stake because we have planted it really deep. Those animals may not gain entry because the fencing wire is very safe and secure. And of course, again, with our boundaries that we're setting, we have to be firm. We have to tell the persons who are trying to get to us what we mean and stand by our words. And so we continue. As we continue to guard our boundaries, we have to be resolute. We have to have that sense of mindfulness. So then again, when we have our physical property, we are doing our occasional checks. We are not going to stand by one day and just let it all fall to ruin. We are resolute at what we want to utilize for our boundaries to be safe, for our property to be safe. So then again, as we guard our boundaries within ourselves, we are mindful of the tricks that persons may come up with to get to us. So at all times, we are aware. We are not letting things slide. We may even have to pull out our legal documents to show that person that we mean business. So, of course, in the same way, we have to let people know that we mean business, that we are not backing down, and we are not standing for their nonsense. And even if that thing may not be a bad thing, as I said last week, we have to let the person know that maybe at this time I simply cannot help you. I must protect my peace of mind, my mental wellness, and of course, my emotional well being. And finally, as we continue to guard boundaries, we have to be consistent. And of course, in the ordinary sphere of things, we have to keep checking on our property and the security measures that we had employed, because of course things may begin to fall apart. We may even have to change our security. We even have to put up security cameras. We may even have to have additional locks and bolts, change the wire, check to see if there are not any gaps in the fencing bits. And so similarly, in the same vein, as we continue to be consistent in cardinal boundaries, we have to be consistent in the practices that we use. Some people who were previously very covert with how they try to get to us may change and become overt. They are bolder and they don't care. And so we have to change the tactic that we utilized when they were doing it underhand to let them know that we mean business. My beautiful ladies out there, my queens, my women, I want to implore you, as you had established those boundaries, you ought to guard them at all times. At all times, you have to think about your peace of mind, your mental wellness, your emotional well being. This beautiful space here is my sanctuary, and I take measures to protect my sanctuary. In similar fashion, as a woman, I myself must guard and establish my boundaries. So I'm asking you to think about that as well. Have a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and again, a productive work week. And if you are going through something, know that the end will come. Continue to be your fabulous, amazing selves. And don't let anyone tell you that you aren't enough.